It's authentic, it's reliable, it's evidence-based. We bring to you the facts from the hub of research in Oxford, England. So, to understand non-communicable and communicable diseases in more detail, let us do it one by one. Non-communicable diseases first, which we also call the NCDs. Now, non-communicable diseases, which we always know, is diseases which are chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, which cannot be cured but can always be managed. So we have to live with them. The good thing about them is they do not get transferred from one person to the other. If you look at the statistics which come out of WHO, 70% of the casualties in the world are due to non-communicable diseases. Almost all 17 million people die each year due to non-communicable diseases. This remains a major global health threat. Challenge: we can only manage them. We cannot cure them. So the only way to do it is prevention. Remember this term, prevention. We'll come to this later on. Now, then let's look at communicable diseases. Now, communicable diseases can be various different diseases coming out of viruses, bacteria, fungi. If you look at new novel pathogens which we have been trying to manage during epidemics and pandemics, have been a huge challenge. For example, the airborne influenza, SARS 2003, MERS 2005, which was also a COVID-2 infection, and then coronavirus in 2019. The vector-borne, like the yellow fever, chikungunya, Zika fever, we all have seen these. The waterborne, like cholera, typhoid, rodent-borne, plague, hantavirus, hemorrhage fevers like Ebola, Marburg, smallpox, and zoonotic diseases. Now that's important. We need to understand zoonotic diseases like Nipah virus, Hendra virus. Now, what are zoonotic diseases? We need to understand. Now, these zoonotic diseases can be spread through bacteria, viruses, and fungi, and this is something which has been happening more often. Why this has been happening more often? We need to understand. Because of there is an increase in the middle class population globally, population living longer, where greater economic prosperity amongst the middle class. The middle class achieves things much quickly nowadays. They would have houses, they would have small flats they would live in with all integrated setups inside their houses. Facilities, they would create an artificial environment inside, like heating and cooling frameworks. But does this really help? With modernization and globalization, if you look at, it is very difficult to control infectious diseases. And the way it is happening, how do we see the future? We see a major challenge. Novel pathogens can be bacteria, they can be viruses, other microorganisms, pathogens which have always been there, but they have been resistance, and acquisition of micro resistances will occur. When we're talking about infectious diseases and future, zoonosis, which are also known as majority of pathogens reported in last 2 decades, are zoonotic in origin, a disease which can be spread between animals and human beings and can be caused by viruses, bacteria, and fungi. It is a huge threat, and we are not at the end of this pandemic. There are many more to come. We have to see how do we manage our lifestyles, because there has been a huge, bigger interaction between humans and animals, and likewise, infectious diseases which get transmitted from animals to humans are going to happen in future as well. So in my next session, I shall be looking more into depth about COVID, which has been a major outbreak in the world in last 18 months, and we have various different opinions. But I would like to demystify what challenges we have gone through and the way we have been moving around in last 18 months, changing versions, chasing the disease with vaccines and various different methodologies. Is it going to work? It is a question mark which we need to look at. Thank you.